I want to talk about practical tips and advice for those of you who might be struggling with ADHD, or for those of you who might know somebody who is struggling with ADHD. So let's get right down to it. I thought I would shoot a video just dedicated to all of y'all who are struggling with ADHD like I have my life. And I just had an insight, just an intuition that was calling me to share more about this and how I've overcame, how I've coped with my own ADHD and also Asperger's. But I want to specifically focus on the ADHD for right here in this video. So let's just get right down to the point. What's really helped me out was not only a good social and family support. I think that's one of the number one factor, I think, is having a good social and just a family support system. I think if you are a parent, or if you're somebody who's thinking about being a parent, or for even, a child growing up, or just whoever you are, it's important to consider that the environment, kind of like my garden over here. I've got a garden here, and kind of like how all those plants, the plants grow from the soil and the environment around it. And if you can get your kid, or if you are somebody who is a kid yourself, if you can get yourself in the environment to where you are nurtured the best, that would be most optimal. And I understand if you are, a kid or teenager, or somebody who doesn't have that control just yet to get out of the environment, just know that you're not alone, and that you have the brief time of you being a kid, and then once you're 18, you can choose and become your own person. But you can still choose that before then. It's just you might not have as much autonomy, especially if you're in like a family environment that might be toxic, which I'm speaking to just the general audience here. So you'll have people from all sorts of backgrounds. But besides the plant analogy, the environment, the soil is really important. But a plant grows through all kinds of weather, and the plant that's most healthiest is able to grow through all kinds of conditions through life. Resilience. So what's helped me is my parents chose to have me through these conditions. They chose to have me face challenges without medication. So I had to learn, I had to have the skills to go through school. And of course, just like how we've got plants here, I can show you my whole garden, but sometimes a plant needs a stick and needs some string around it to help it to grow, straight up. Like sometimes it needs a little support, accommodations, if you will. And that's kind of what I've had. But the accommodations are to help you to be able to grow naturally as you are. It's to help you to be able to grow into your most highest version of yourself. So to make this simple, to break it all down, is what's helped me the most is my parents had me develop the skills of focus and attention and emotional control through, and also of course, like my academic success through focus, through me actually developing those skills. So for instance, to help me build the focus, I was involved in tennis, trumpet, taekwondo, chess, magic, Boy Scouts. I was involved in a lot of different of those activities, and all those activities, they had me hone in on different skills. So Boy Scouts helped me to It helped me to learn how to be out in nature in the wilderness and about how to care for the environment. With tennis, tennis really, I think if you're a parent and if you have a kid who's struggling with like ADHD, I would highly recommend doing some sport or some activity like tennis, trumpet, music. I think those activities where it helps, like your kid to focus, because in tennis, you have to be able, tennis teaches you how to be in control of your emotions. It teaches you how to tune out distractions. Because in order to play tennis well, you have to be able to not make excuses for the weather, for all kinds of stuff that can affect your performance. And it helps you to build resilience from that. But I also don't want people to take the message of to force their kid to do these activities because it's good for them. I think the kid or the person who's struggling with, who has potential in them, needs to be able to have that time to fulfill their gifts on their own. So with a kid, for example, if you're a parent, let's say, who has a kid who's struggling with ADHD, I would highly recommend to be that supportive system, be that fertile soil for them to harness their own gifts. So what that means is my parents supported me 100% on me doing tennis. We didn't have a whole lot of money now that I look back on it, but they still honored that gift because they knew that I would benefit from it and that it was really what I wanted to do. So I think really letting your kid, let people in their life express their deepest dreams and their gifts. Be that space for them to do that, and that support, that leader, that mentor. And I think that's all I really have to say about that, really, is the activities that build the skills, the running, the tennis, the trumpet, the singing, the chess. I was involved in so many activities, now that I think back on it, that it's like, wow. It's like I went through all those activities, and yet I'm here today because of them. And that's not just for me to brag about that, it's just to show you that of what's possible for you to do. That if you're struggling with ADHD, it's not the end of the world. You can still use that. You can use that energy. In fact, I would never, ever not have ADHD. If I could somehow go back in time and redesign my life, I wouldn't change a dang thing, because ADHD, the hyperactivity part, is what helped me to be passionate, bring that obsession. And also that comes from my autism too, of just being, just that repetitive behaviors. Like I was obsessed with everything, just wanted to be the best at everything. And I think that's an attitude to have in life. I think with people with ADHD, they have the gift. You have the gift. If you have ADHD, you have the gift. It's just about having that plant grow. You might need to have a stick for a little bit, accommodations to help you to build those skills, because we don't all bloom the same pace. So I think having those skills, having those accommodations, not relying on medication, but if you do need medication, it can help. But I feel like a lot of people use medication as a crutch, as an excuse to build the skills. But I think that's the most important thing. Is I look back on it and I appreciate my parents choosing to modify my schooling. I appreciate them modifying my schooling and not modifying my my medication. So they helped me to build the skills through natural means. At any rate, I hope all that was helpful, useful, and valuable to you. It's pretty stormy out here, but like I said earlier, we grow through storms, we grow through the sunshine and through the rain. We need them both. We need the balance. So hopefully you can find that balance in your life as well. And the main takeaway is to find activities that can help you train those skills, whether that's being more artful, painting, going for a run, like cross country or tennis, doing activities that build those skills naturally and not relying on some other crutch or medicine to do it for you. But if you need it, then you can do it. All right, stay strong.